Hi, Sassy Stuff. My name's Emma,
I'm Blythe.
and we're here to talk to you about the South Carolina versus Clemson rivalry. Let's get to it. So, Blythe, this is a very important game for both teams. They are fighting to stay in college football playoff contention. They both could seriously make it. South Carolina is 8-3. They seek their ninth win, marking the best season under Shane Beamer and the eighth in the program history to hit 9+ wins. Clemson is 9-2. They must win this game to keep their CFP hopes alive. They might need a little bit of help from Miami and SMU as well, but this game would really solidify something for them to get them into the playoffs. They are currently ranked 12th.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, it feels like this season has been so long, and we've done this week in and week out, and we've finally made it to rivalry weekend. This is so exciting. Being from the state of South Carolina, this rivalry is so deep. Every rivalry is special, but I think truly this Palmetto Bowl is one of the best. It is absolutely cutthroat, no matter what sport it is, but especially football here in South Carolina. But there's just a different kind of juice this year going into this game. And this is the first ranked Palmetto Bowl since 2013. This, in my opinion, is definitely the most important in the rivalry's history. Both have so much at stake this year. It's so exciting. Living in the heart of Columbia. It's been a weird week for me being a Clemson girl, I must say. But I love that this game is back to this competitive level that it really should be at. I mean, both of these programs are great programs. They're both going in the right direction. And this is just so exciting. I know there's going to be a lot of fans just super excited. They will be in Clemson Saturday at 12 o'clock. Can't believe, honestly, ESPN gave us this game slot instead of to a 2-9 Florida State and Florida game. But we won't go there. ESPN, I'm mad about that, but it will still be exciting. Definitely, everybody will be juiced up. And I just want to run through the history of this rivalry for a little bit. This game used to be held at the State Fair in Columbia, and it was called Big Thursday back in 1960. And then in 2014, the rivalry was officially named the Palmetto Bowl. And around South Carolina, we normally just call it the Clemson Carolina game, but it is indeed called the Palmetto Bowl. And during the 2019 pandemic, this bowl was interrupted, and it ended the longest continuous non conference rivalry in the nation. It's the second longest continuous rivalry in D1 football. And this is just so exciting. I'm so excited to preview this game and break it down. So, how are you feeling about this game? I mean, we have seen a lot from South Carolina. I think right now they are definitely one of the scariest teams right now going into hopefully postseason play for them.
Yeah, I think they're peaking at the right time. Their record, as it stands right now, because so much chaos has happened already and so much more chaos can happen this weekend and in the championship games. South Carolina has a very good shot of making the playoffs. They have good losses across the board. Clemson also can get in there because of the chaos at this point. They did have a bad loss to Georgia early in the year, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and they've been finishing strong. Um, as it stands right now, I think I would be leaning more towards South Carolina. I just think the momentum's on their side, but this Clemson team is strong, especially when they're on. I think the games that they have dropped beside or the game they did drop because the Georgia game that was brutal, but the game they did drop, I think it was one of their worst performances this year. So I think with the home field advantage, the momentum on their side, they could really get something going in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. And Clemson owns this rivalry. The 73-43-4. We like to say we run the state. We do. But this year, this is definitely probably one of the most even matchups, I would say. Clemson has an ACC best 195.3 rushing yards per game. Phil Maffa has 1,012 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Antonio Williams has a team high 689 receiving yards on 58 receptions to go with 10 touchdowns. And I mean, defensively, the Tigers force a lot of turnovers. They have 7 fumble recoveries and 13 interceptions. Defensive end TJ Parker has 4 forced fumbles and 9 sacks, and defensive lineman Peter Woods has 3 sacks. It's going to be interesting because Clemson has had some injuries. Left tackle Tristan Lee and left guard Marcus Tate, they're day to day, according to Coach Sweeney. They've missed the past 3 games, so that's why that win at Virginia Tech was so ugly. Cade Klubnik took 9 sacks. I mean, that's definitely going to be a factor going into this weekend, especially. I mean, the Gamecocks, they lead the SEC with 11.5 sacks. South Carolina ranks number 17 nationally in third down conversions. So, I mean, this is going to be a pretty even matchup. I mean, I think on both sides of the football, they're going to have to run the ball well.
My problem with Clemson is they're vulnerable against the run. So they're number 55th nationally, and Lenora Sellers is that dual threat QB. So having him run all over you all night is not gonna be good for the Clemson Tigers. They're really gonna have to hold him in the pocket. Pressure him would be major in winning this game. So that is a key that I'm looking for Clemson is really rattling Lenora Sellers and don't let him run all over you.
No, no, definitely both these quarterbacks from the waist down are very good when they can let loose. I think that's the thing about these types of games is, obviously this is a big game. It's a rivalry game. Every game is a big game, but not making this bigger than it is. And just trying to stay loose. I know listening to both of the coaches' interviews this week, that was both something, but they both said it's just being able to stay relaxed, stay loose. Because when you're not, I mean, that's when you make mistakes. That's when you turn the ball over. That's when you have a bad read, bad pass, whatever it may be. So just making the moment just not too big. And I know that's easier said than done. We've obviously both played sports and we've been in these types of moments, big games, big opportunities. And I'm excited to see how it's going to go. This is the one year I honestly really don't know. This,
Well, it is. They're so evenly matched, it seems
yeah,
like. I mean, Clemson, like you said, Cade got sacked 9 times last week. South Carolina is number 3 in the nation for sacks. They've had
yeah,
39 total this year. So, there's already a matchup right there. I think when both QBs are on, they're very similar. It's just who's gonna be on the day and how consistent can they be across the board. So I am very excited for this game. I am upset about the time slot as well because of how evenly matched these teams are. I know that game day is gonna go back to the Lone Star rivalry, and see Texas A&M because that really determines who goes to the SEC championship. But this is honestly a more exciting game for me, at least. I've been loving Lenora Sellers all year long,
yeah.
and I kinda wanna see how he does in this big environment, especially because they are playing away.
Yeah, I do too. And, we've seen them on the road challenge these teams. They've had a couple really close losses that we've talked about this year. So just being able to see how he's taken those experiences and now putting that into this game that's also on the road will definitely be one thing that I'm also looking out for as well.
And I think this will be a close game,
Oh, yeah.
um, because it is so evenly matched. So, I will favor South Carolina, but not by much. I would say, like, a 30-27 would look
Yeah.
pretty solid to me. And with that, they could potentially get into the playoffs. I think the world's their oyster. They could get in there with all the crazy things that have happened. If some more crazy stuff happens, then I would say definitely put them in there. They're peaking at the right time, and I'm excited to see where they go, not just this year, but also into next year.
Yeah, I think so too. It's crazy because I think half the people would not put them in because of the Bamas. I mean, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if somebody would put a Bama team ahead of the South Carolina team.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost those close games, and yes, if they win against Clemson, great. But what's the argument there? I think
Well,
would be
the argument is they beat them, is
yeah,
kind of they have that, and they have maybe a better win with beating Georgia, because especially if Georgia wins the SEC championship game, but Bama of late has not been consistent whatsoever. It has been very up and down. So if you want I think a more consistent team as what I've seen in the back half of the season, I would go with South Carolina. I'll never pull against my team entirely. I know you'll want Clemson to win this game because that would be amazing for their playoff chances as well. So this game means a lot to where the playoffs are gonna stack up.
Yeah, no, it really does. And honestly, I mean, this game is a big game, I think, for Cade Klubnik. I mean, last year he didn't have the best season. This year, I mean, he worked on the things that he needed to work on. He talked about it last season, and he's a very self-aware quarterback, I think, and everything that he said last year that he needed to work on, he did that this year. I mean, we've definitely seen growth in the pocket. I mean, he's overall a more mature and better quarterback than he was last season. So for him, I mean, this is a really big moment that I think could kind of shape the maybe perspective and opinions that people have on him or just how he's played previously this season and going forward. So that's going to be huge. And then, I mean, also for South Carolina, I mean, this is the biggest thing that they have played for in a very long time. I
Yeah.
mean, they have one championship, and guess what? It's an ACC championship. So this is the biggest thing they've ever had to play for, too. So seeing how they are in those moments. Clemson's played in those big games. They've played in those national championships. They know what it means to get into the playoff.
Yeah.
So it that comes with experience too. Just once again, not making the moment too big because you've been there. So that's going to be really interesting, I think, to see as well. But I mean, this South Carolina team is one of the best that I've seen in the past 4 or 5 years. I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm excited that this rivalry is back to what it needs to be. There is so much talent on both of these programs, a lot of talent that they recruit here in South Carolina. It's just great for the state as a whole to have two great football programs that truly develop people and truly, just have that support staff that you want when you choose to go to a school like this. I mean, you sign up to play in games like this when you go to these two programs, and this should be the new normal. I I'm sure that this is where this bowl game will go from here on out, only up. So
I think so, and I think especially with NIL and everything, it's
mhm.
this is an SEC show, so it's made the SEC
Yeah,
as a whole more competitive. You really don't know. We could say, "Oh yeah,
yeah,
Alabama's gonna beat Oklahoma," and then it's like, "Oh no,
yeah.
that was bad. It was embarrassing." So it was just like anything can happen now.
Mhm.
Anybody can win any given week. Vandy, we've seen amazing things from them this year, beating Bama, almost beating Texas. They have Tennessee this week. We'll see if they can
Who
beat
knows?
Tennessee and wreck their season too, make them 9-3. So it's just been that much more exciting, and especially for this rivalry, which is in the SEC and the ACC, having both programs
Mhm.
be strong and
Yeah,
have like an even matchup going into this will only be better not only for the programs but also the fans who are
yeah,
watching. So
yeah.
this is going to be amazing. I'm very excited for this game.
Yeah, and I think, that's how you learn as a player. I mean,
Mhm.
when you play those non-conference games, you are tested. You don't see these teams every year. Now you do for a rivalry, but like when Clemson played Georgia this year, I mean, those are all learning games, and it's great for a program to do. I mean, you learn from obviously playing the best of the best. So having these two programs just at a peak and doing so well, I mean, it truly is very awesome to see. And I was listening to a couple interviews earlier, and it's kind of funny because Coach Sweeney played against Coach Beamer, Daddy
Oh.
Beamer, for a while at Virginia Tech. And now he's great friends with Shane. So it's kind of funny because somebody was asking them, you talking trash because it's rivalry weekend, and they're like, nah, no, no, like we're actually friends. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of sporty coach camaraderie as well. That it's just playful fun. The week of rivalry weekend, hate week, some might call it. It's just really funny to see the coaches in that kind of space that are such great friends because I mean, if you think about it, they play against a bunch of their friends or they coach against a bunch of their friends.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny to see, especially in a game like this. I think the friendship will be put aside at 12 p.m. and they'll get it going for sure.
Zoom again at 3:30.
Yeah, they'll be friends again. Maybe not the loser for a couple hours, but someone's gonna win and somebody's gonna lose, and that's just what it is. And I hope, or I don't hope, but we will see which team for both of these actually shows up because we've seen all year for both of these teams when they're on, and when they're off, it's really bad. So hopefully, Carolina can not turn the ball over, and that was one thing that they had struggled with, I think, a lot this year. And um,
Hopefully, Cade can be a game manager again.
that too, hopefully.
Exactly.
Exactly. Hopefully he can show his maturity uh in this role, and it'll just be interesting to see. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I think on both fan bases, no one truly knows. I think everybody's excited, obviously because it's rivalry weekend, but also just is so evenly matched for the first time in a very long time.
Mhm.
So there is just like a different kind of energy around Columbia right now, and where I live. And you're two
Yeah, you're
hours
part of
Clemson
it
from
all.
here. Yeah, I'm in the heart of all of it. And it's funny because, I mean, growing up, I lived about 20 minutes from the heart of Columbia, and being, one of a few Clemson fans, it was funny because on Fridays, like, I would talk crap with all the boys because I knew sports. I love sports, and they'd give it to me, and I'd give it right back. And then when Monday rolled around, we'd rehash all the games. We'd talk about every single game. We would trash talk. It was so much fun. But that's what I remember just growing up in this rivalry. I mean, it is absolutely cutthroat. Every Friday before that game, you wore your jersey, you wore your team shirt. I mean, it doesn't matter the sport. Like, this truly is one of the best rivalries, and I will forever stand by that.
No, we're all excited for not only this rivalry, but the rest of the rivalries that we get this weekend. First, we eat our Thanksgiving meals with our friends and family, and get ready for all the exciting, hopefully chaos. I'm rooting for chaos at this point. It's been completely
We
chaotic.
are.
I want more. I want more chaos. But we're rooting for success all around and chaos all around because we want the CFP to have a very, very hard decision at the end of the
Yeah.
day. It makes it more fun for us.
It does. And with Thanksgiving being tomorrow, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that follows this channel. Thank you for subscribing, liking, following us. We are truly thankful for each and every one of you. We're excited to keep growing this platform, and we're thankful to have the opportunity to talk about college football and talk about SEC sports. I mean, college football as a whole is so special, and it's the people like you that watch us and pay attention to what we're doing, make it so awesome for us. So thank you so much. If you have not already, if this is your first episode, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will get this rivalry weekend going, and we will see you next week as we look forward to the SEC championship.